Okay, thanks very much, Imam. So now I will like to introduce our guest speaker tonight. And again, Brother Mohammed is a member of the BSO, the Broward Sheriff Office. He's a member of the neighborhood support team, neighborhood support specialist. He has a master's in school counseling. And at the end, he will explain and let you know what other services he may be able to provide those of you here in Broward County. So without further delay, I would like to spotlight Brother Mohammed. If you can go ahead and begin your presentation.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Like you said, my name is Brother Muhammad. I am currently working with the Broward Sheriff's Office with the neighborhood support team. I've been in law enforcement for over 20 years. Every time I say that, I feel older and older. But I just got into this unit about 2 years ago, 3 years ago when COVID hit. Alhamdulillah, they kind of took me out of my realm with drugs and alcohol and asked me to do what I do here. And kind of like share some of the expertise that I have to offer around Broward County over here. So if you live in Broward County, you probably see me. I usually try to go to all the different masajid on Fridays to go pray, to check out all the other masjids and see how the sheriff's office and myself can make things better between law enforcement and our community. And when we're talking about the internet issues, I'm not just talking about the youth, because the youth, yes, there are problems with youth. There's a lot of things going on with online, and unfortunately, I get to see the dark side of the internet, which a lot of people don't really see. Parents don't see. I get to talk to our cyber guys, get to hear what they see on a daily basis, stuff that I've seen in the courtrooms, and heard from from real people in the courthouse, with issues that they've seen and what they're going on between the cyberbullying, the fake calls about, different issues that they're going to do in the school systems, and all that terrible stuff that's going on right now. One of the biggest things that we do have a problem with our youth is understanding what the difference is between real and fake. A lot of filters are out there, and it's funny because when I do these conversations with other people, with in person, with students, and with Muslims and with non-Muslims, I always ask to see, hey, let me see your profile picture. And mashallah, everybody has like the most gorgeous non-blemished face, right? The filters that we put on online on each other. So people, when they see us online, mashallah, we are the most gorgeous people in the world. And as you can tell, I don't have a filter on, so I'm not the most gorgeous guy in the world. But it's kind of like when we look at that, we see that, and we feel like, oh my gosh, I have like our youth are starting to feel like I have to be that way. Something's wrong with me, and so then you get to the anxiety, the depression, and I know you guys had a talk about the mental health aspect of it all. So I don't want to bore you guys with the mental health aspect of it all, but that's one of the major things that I'm seeing having a problem with online is the fakeness and the kids not being able to distinguish between real and fake. The other thing is that now I like doing this conversation with Muslims because I could talk about haram and halal. And the haram always, always, always looks so much fun online. And the halal looks kind of boring. And the way I kind of explain it to the youth and to the kids is Google who has the most followers online right now. And you'll see, mashallah, the most people who have the most followers are the girls who are dancing. The guy, Lamy Kame or something his name is, that does nothing but just does this thing. And mashallah, these guys that have these massive followers aren't really providing any type of positive influence on our youth. And then when you look at like the followers who have like the religious scholars, Mufti Mink and all these other religious scholars that are out there, they have no followers compared to those guys out there. So the haram always out, looks better than the halal. And I always have to explain to the youth, parents, kind of like understand that, Muslims, we're kind of built different. Right? We have a thing called haya, like the fear of God in our hearts. And the one thing that online does is it kind of extinguishes that from our youth. And they always say, "Oh, you're so old, you don't know what's going on. Oh, you don't get it, mom. You don't get it, dad. All that kind of stuff." Um, for my position, for my job, I keep up with all that stuff. I try to keep up with all that stuff. Every 6 months or so, they come up with a new app. They come up with Amigo, where they come up with Rumble. They come up with all these different apps that these kids are using, and I try to keep up with as much as I can. And I like to read um, the accept. Before when you download an app, you have to press accept to download that app. I like to read that stuff beforehand. The majority of people don't read all that stuff. They don't like to read and go into the dialogue of what you're actually doing when you're accepting that application. So when you're downloading Snapchat, for example, people don't really understand that Snapchat now has, you have given it Snapchat authority to have all your location services. Why does Snapchat need your location? Because they want to know where you're at so they can advertise to you and they can tell people where you are. And the problem with that I've seen so far with Snapchat is it's becoming just like Instagram. The more followers you have, the cooler you are, the more people like your photos. And what ends up happening is that people just accept, not really knowing who they're accepting. And then they have the location services on, and then that person can actually find you through that app with directions. And I wish I had, if you guys, if I had you guys in my in person, I would show you on my phone. They click on the location, they click on your emoji, and they can just get Google directions right to where you're at. And a lot of the kids don't know that. Parents don't know that. So they download these apps, and the parents don't really know that now whoever they're accepting as friends can find out exactly where they are and when they're Snapchatting and when they go to school, when they go home, if they're home alone. It becomes a very, very a vicious cycle out there. So it's no more a white van with a candy like back in the days. It's hey, you already told me where you're at, so let's go and grab that person. So being aware of those apps that you're downloading, reading, taking the time to read all that before you accept those things. And just for me personally, I do not have automatic updates on my phone on the apps because I like to read what they're updating on those apps. Okay, and so for example, that like I just told you guys about the Snapchat. Snapchat didn't have that feature until about, I want to say, about 8 months ago. And when they had the update, and I read through that update, and I said, "Oh Lord, now they're going to be able to find anybody anywhere." Same thing with Instagram and TikTok and all that kind of stuff. I could try to explain to people, read those things before you download. Make sure that you're okay with it and you're aware with it. And make sure, I know you want those apps. Just be careful with it. Cover your cameras, cover your microphones. If you don't have a cover, grab one, get one, put a piece of tape on those cameras and those microphones. Because at the end of the day, you're also acknowledging the fact that they're allowed to use your phone and your cameras. Okay, and a lot of times it'll give you a little choice that says only while app is in use. How much faith do I have in that? I don't really have a lot of faith in that. There's a lot of different things also for our little kids. So if you're a parent who has little kids who are playing Roblox, I'll give you an example of Roblox. That's the biggest thing that these kids are playing. I have an 11-year-old son. I know he plays that stuff. What people aren't realizing also is that there's easy ways to access your information, your Wi-Fi, your IP addresses. These are things that our kids aren't really aware of because they're too young. We don't sit there and explain to them what an IP address is or what a Wi-Fi setting is or what the Wi-Fi password is. So when these guys are going on these Roblox, pretending to be 11-year-olds, when they're actually 25, 35, 45-year-olds, even 55-year-olds who have a lot of computer skills and a lot of knowledge of how to manipulate our children, getting some personal information, understanding how to get them a private chat on Roblox. I don't know if people watch their children playing that game, but there's a chat where you can chat to everybody, and then there's a private messaging. Hey, I want to exchange, 20 gold coins for a sword or whatever they're playing. And that's how they just get right there. They grab your address, they grab your IP, they grab some information, they know you. And it slowly, kind of gets those kids into like, hey, this is my friend, when they don't know who they're speaking to. And I always tell these guys, at the end of the day, if it's too good to be true, it probably is. So just kind of be careful and monitor that stuff as well. One other thing is, I'm at that age where I kind of grew up with no internet. Then we had Mario Brothers, and then we kind of kept going up from there to where we're at now and to the future. right? And I see how this is going, where the IA, Chat GDP, all the different IA programs that these kids and these teenagers and these college students are using to kind of make things easier on them. Is it good? Is it bad? It kind of depends on what you're using it for, right? So understanding what's the halal and haram part of using these different things. And subhanAllah, there's always great people who show me great things and do great things on these things and teach me how to do things, right? When COVID hit, I was in the drugs and alcohol world for a little bit, and I had about 65 clients at that time. And most of my clients, majority of my clients, were usually working in restaurants, doing chef work, valet parking, certain things that they lost their job. About 90% of my people lost their jobs once COVID hit. And the only people that I've seen that were able to kind of bounce back super fast took my advice. And I explained to them, listen, we're humans, we adapt, right? You can learn and grab anything you want. It took me about 30 videos for me and my family to watch on YouTube to learn how to pave our backyard. And instead of spending $6,000 for somebody to do it, I did it myself with my family. After watching so many YouTube videos, I felt like I became a construction worker with them. And it took us 4 to 5 days. We finished it up and we saved a ton of money. And now we all know how to do certain things with our hands. And you throw that little word of advice, that little example, and then those guys that took it and rolled with it. I have many guys who became plumbers from watching YouTube videos, electricians from online classes, barbers and whatnot, because they decided to adapt and do something positive with themselves. But then again, you also see the bad side of it as well. And if you're not strong, if you don't have a strong personality and you fall into that trap, it's a very, very hard cycle, because what ends up happening is if you've seen the studies, if you read, I'm a reader, I like to read. If you read the studies that they've done online about online, the same part of the brain that when people do certain drugs is lit up when we're watching so much of that online content, right? The endorphins are going crazy. Everybody, we're loving it. We're laughing. We're having a good time. And what we're not realizing, what we're not noticing, is that they're throwing little snippets of other stuff in there while you're watching and laughing at a certain thing. Think about it. And you probably didn't notice it, but now you're going to notice. Inshallah, you notice it now. The music that they put behind the scenes when you're watching these videos, right? You're watching the video, but you're not realizing that you're listening to music at the same time. And the majority of the music is not what you want to listen to. And subhanAllah, there was a time during one of the Ramadans, I was talking to the kids. My biggest thing now is I'm going to detox from any type of music. I'm not going to listen to any music. I'm not going to, when I go to certain schools and stuff, I'm going to say, hey, do me a favor, turn off the radios, turn off this music. I want to just go and talk. I don't want to hear anything. But somehow, some way, there was still music getting into my head. And I realized, even though I was getting away from all that music, it was still showing up on my feeds when I was trying to learn and trying to watch what the kids are still watching. So it still got into my brain without me realizing it, because it was always online, right? And so if you kind of start to realize and start to think and start to see these kinds of things, this is what I'm hoping that you guys get out of this, is kind of like look at the different things that they're trying to put in plain sight. For example, when you like something or you like somebody's content, what do? You click the little follow button. You became a follower, right? And I explained to everybody, we are not followers. Muslims are built different. I keep saying we're built different. We are leaders. We don't follow people around. Okay, you follow a business, I get it, you want to know what they're doing, but you don't follow certain people. You don't follow everybody that you think is funny or that makes you laugh or that has no real benefit to you, right? They telling you became a follower now, right? And the person who's on top, who has the most followers, though, that is the leader now. And we're all just sitting there following that person. The same thing with another plain in sight, TikTok. It's in the name, TikTok. TikTok, TikTok, you're wasting time. How long can we keep that person online? A person can scroll with their thumb for 3, 4, 5 hours, not realizing that they've been online for 3, 4, 5 hours, right? And they're doing that for a reason, right? Waste your time, just do nothing, right? Don't benefit yourself, okay? And so what ends up happening is all that time you wasted, you could have done something beneficial for yourself. Okay, and I've always tell people, I use Ramadan, and I tell people use Ramadan as a way of detoxing yourself from the internet, slowly but surely, right? It's just like getting off of caffeine. Okay, so you drinking 10 cups of coffee a day. Hey, let's go down shway shway. Let's go down little by little. Let's start with 8 cups, then 5 cups, then 3 cups. Next thing you know, you're drinking 1 cup a day. Right? Same thing with sugar. Same thing with all that. The internet is the same exact thing. I don't tell people quit cold turkey because it's very hard to quit cold turkey. Very, very difficult to quit the internet cold turkey. Everything is based around the internet. Everything we do, from our emails to our telephone calls. I don't know if everybody has iPhones, because I don't have an iPhone, I have an Android, but I know a lot of people do FaceTime, and Zoom has become a big thing. So there's a lot of what's going on around the world through the internet. And if you're not careful enough, it couldn't get into your house in a bad way. I'm not sure if you guys seen a couple years back with the Ring issue that they had, where the people hacked into their Wi-Fi's and got the IP addresses and logged into people's Ring cameras through their homes and started talking to the little kids and saying, "Hey, little girl, you got a nice dress," and started, messing around with these families. It became it became a national thing that they had on Good Morning America, and people didn't realize what was going on. Well, if you don't change your passwords, if you have a same password for everything, if you aren't careful, aren't cautious of who you're texting, who you're talking, who you're giving your information to, it's going to be very, very easy for them to get your information. The majority of the people use the easiest passwords or passwords. I tell everybody, don't put your passwords in your phone on a notepad, because you're going to lose your phone one day and somebody's going to have all your passwords. Write them on a piece of paper. It's not hard to write stuff on a piece of paper. Keep it in a piece of paper can't get hacked. And the majority of the people that think, oh, it's not going to happen to me. It happens. It happens. I've sat in on court cases. I've seen the worst of the worst. I've seen grandmas who got scammed by, their grandsons who were in jail, who needed $5,000 bail, and the grandparents sent them the money, thinking that I have to save my grandkid. There's a lot of things out there that if we're not careful, if we don't know what's going on, if we're not aware of it, they're going to take advantage of us. And I tell the kids all the time, if you are playing these games, whether it's Call of Duty, whether it's Roblox, whatever you're playing, and if you're talking to people you don't know on a private chat, I get it. When they're playing Call of Duty, they're talking on their microphones. That's a different story. But if you're chit-chatting and you're talking to somebody you don't really know, you're giving them access. You're opening up your IP address. As soon as they get an IP address, if they got some skill sets on them, they can get your Wi-Fi, your location services, find out what your password is, and log in. And the majority of all of us, I think 99% of us, use the internet for our banking, right? We always do our online banking. And what do we do it on? We do it on our cell phones, we do it on our laptops, and we do it on our Wi-Fi's at home. You see what I'm saying? It gets very, very, very dangerous out there. So I tell my kids all the time, if you don't know who you're talking to, if you don't know that person, don't talk to that person. You're not looking for followers. You're not looking for friends. You don't need all that stuff. The other thing goes to also of posting online. The one thing I do a lot of out here in Broward County is talk about postings, right? Because a lot of people want to post online, post their dinners, their lunches. Look at this cheeseburger I just made, or look at this food that I just bought. And everybody's about posting selfies and all that kind of stuff. Understand something. The moment you press send, the moment you post anything, it's online. You can delete it all you want. But it's like taking toothpaste out of the taking the toothpaste out of the tube and trying to put it back in. You cannot put it back in. It becomes out there forever. And you think they're your friends, or you think they're your people. Somebody's took a screenshot of it. Somebody's took a picture of it off from another phone. You can delete it all you want. You can pay Google to delete all your stuff if you wanted to, if you have that much money, but it's there for life. And I've seen things where I had a girl that I was working with who wanted to become a lawyer, and she thought because she got arrested, she was gonna not be able to become a lawyer. She went to college, did her thing, and I told her it's not gonna show on your record. Just finish this program. You're good as long as you do everything good for a year. You'll be fine. It's not gonna show. It's not gonna show. We delete everything off our records. You'll be fine. And she did everything she had to do. Stayed the course. Finished the program. Went and applied for the position, and one of the law firms, they did a background check on her. She didn't get the job. And it had nothing to do with her getting arrested, going to jail. It had everything to do with a post that she posted on Facebook. I think it was from 2019 or 2020 that she posted online that seemed racial. And she started getting upset. Oh my God, I can't believe this happened. And I tried to explain to her, these are the things that people look at. And now when you guys apply for a position or apply for a job, any job you apply for, I don't care if it's with the sheriff's office or in an insurance agency, they're going to look up your Facebook, they're going to look up your Instagram, they're going to look up your LinkedIn, they're going to look up everything about you. They're going to Google search you, right? And they're going to try to find out as much as they can about you. And the moment they see something that you post or that you posted and they don't like it, they're going to stay away from that. Also goes into the stuff that you say about somebody else online. Talk about somebody, bully somebody, whatever you think that you know, it's funny or it's a joke. I've seen it in the courtroom where the kid will start crying and say, Your Honor, I was just kidding. And the judge, I'm sorry, but this is a threat or this is bullying. Now it's harassment. It used to be called harassment, but he's done it so many times, now it became bullying. And it's either a misdemeanor or a felony, depending on how many times you've done it. And those are the kinds of things you don't need on your record, especially if you plan on applying for college. So understand that there's a big difference between what you can do online, which is beneficial. You can make tons of money. You can get lots of hasanat doing good things online. And there's the opposite side, which is the haram side, where everything at haram always looks better than everything that's halal. So I really want to just open up to see if you guys have any questions, because I don't want to just ramble on about anything and everything that, because this can take like days and days and days. So I really want to know what you guys, if you have any questions for me while I'm here, to kind of take advantage of the situation when you got somebody who's going to be very upfront with you. So I don't know, guys, if you guys have any questions yet or anything like that, but I would really like to get to know whether they have anything.
Yeah, okay. If any, hang on one second. Yeah, if anybody has any questions right now, you can use the raise hand on Zoom, ask your question, type it in the chat, and I'll ask it anonymously on your behalf. I just want to echo what Brother Muhammad was saying, is that a few years ago, I have two sons, 14 and 11. They go to Franklin Academy in Pembroke Pines, and one of the cybersecurity officers came into the presentation, and he mentioned exactly what you said about, and he showed us about taking a picture from that you posted and being able to geolocate it based on that picture. And so it is a real thing. And then he showed us this, like I said, it was 6 years ago, and I'm sure technology has improved since then. And the other thing you were mentioning with pictures, like food vacation pictures, I used to do it and I stopped. I used to post pictures while on vacation, and then I stopped doing it because if anybody should, and I'm very careful who I have access to my friends and all that, but still, you never know. But if you're posting pictures while you're on vacation, that means nobody's home.
Yes, absolutely.
And then, you know, so that's your advertising. Hey, my house is empty, you know, go help yourself. So I go on vacation, and after I'm back home, then I'll post one or two
So
pictures.
let me touch base on you with one thing. There was a situation where we had where kids were posting themselves in their uniforms, right? Whatever school they were going to. And, you know, my kids used to go to Franklin. My son still goes to Franklin and Sunrise. My daughter was going to Franklin as well. And when I was doing this talk, I explained to the kids, there was a time where these kids were, you know, giving themselves these selfies and taking these pictures. And actually, guys were able to determine what school she went to. Determined what school she went to, searched up the school online, found out the hours of the time the kids were in school, knowing that the kid was taking the bus home, knowing where the bus stop was, and knowing how far the bus stop was from her house. So, and again, that takes a lot of time, a lot of effort, but the most patient people are the criminals. They have the most patience out there. And so if we're not knowledgeable about what we're posting, what we're doing, I told everybody, we can't stop cyberbullying. We can arrest all the bullies we want. It's not going to stop. We can tell you till we're blue in the face to not post anything. You're going to still post. I just say to everybody, just be careful what you're posting, right? I don't put on my Facebook status, hey, I'm going on vacation I'm going back to Palestine for a month. Why would I post that online? Back in the days, we used to have a thing called privacy. What goes on in the house stays in the house. Now everything is out there. Nobody really understands the concept of privacy. And the moment you throw that information out there is the moment people are going to know that you're not there or what your schedule is like. Pay people, you don't understand. Predators have the most patience. They will wait. They will watch for weeks and months to see exactly what's going on, where that person is at, how long that person goes to the bathroom for. One of the things that I tell everybody is, and let me kind of do a little bit of a backtrack here. When we give access to these apps for our cameras, for our microphones, and all that kind of stuff, we're not realizing a lot of the times we're taking our phones to the bathroom, right? And doing whatever we got to do in the bathroom. A lot of times the kids have these things on, on their showers where they put their tablets in the plastic so it doesn't get wet so they can keep watching their YouTube videos, not realizing that they have access to your camera. They just found out that the iPhone continuously takes pictures. I think it's like every 2 minutes or every 3 minutes to verify that you're still using your phone without people knowing that they're doing these things. So you have to just kind of be cautious of where you're taking your phone, right? And it's getting to the point where the technology is so advanced, they know when you're going to your bedroom. They'll know when you're going, they know there's how many steps it takes from your kitchen to your bedroom, from your kitchen to your bathroom, from your bathroom to your bedroom. They're gonna know the whole outline of your house by you giving them the okay when you accept it for that app, for them to know your location, to know your phone, your cameras, and your microphones. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to go on another little rant like that, but this is very this subject is very like intense for me because I've been in, like, my wife always says, oh, you've been in law enforcement for so long, you think everything's negative. No, I just know what to look for, right? And so I want to share with everybody because we always say that our youth, our adults are going through some stuff. I do marriage counseling and I hear these husbands that have these expectations of their wives because of whatever they see online. And I explain to them that's fake. That's not real. This is what the Quran says. This is what the Islam says about the roles of the husband, the roles of the wife. This is how it really is. So stop looking online for the answers because you're going to get the answers you want, but they're not going to be the right answers. Okay, sorry about that.
Okay, that's okay. No, it's all important information. I have a question in the chat, and this question may vary from household to household, but the question is, what should be the parameters for giving a kid a cell phone and access to social media?
The parameters are very simple. You can put parental settings on everything and anything. How good does that work? It's not 110%. TikTok, Instagram, all that stuff. You got to be 13 years old to have one. Does 11-year-olds have them? Yes, they do. As a parent, it's our job as a parent to kind of set the parameters of, hey, look, Monday through Thursday, no tablet, no phones, right? Monday through Thursday, Monday through Friday, you don't need it. It's all about school that time. Saturday and Sunday, okay, fine. But as a parent, for my personal self, Saturday and Sundays, I'm out with my kids. If I have a work event to do, I'm trying my best to take my kids with me. It keeps them busy, right? Basketball, put my daughter in basketball, put my son in basketball and soccer, keeping them constantly busy. And I have parents all the time who complain, brother, I'm tired. Brother, I work, 8 hours a day. I work 10 hours a day. I get it. I'm exhausted. But if we're not spending time with our kids, then somebody else is. And the majority of the most of the time, it's going to be the internet, spending time with the kids, and you don't want that to happen. So I don't know if that was a good answer or not for.
Okay. Thanks very much. Yeah, if anybody, please ask questions. We got to take advantage of the situation. On TV, on movies and stuff, you hear the phrase dark web a lot.
Yes.
Can you explain? What is it? Or if everyone knows about it, it's bad. Why is nothing done about it?
Okay, so the dark web is it's just a word that people use. It's dark Google. You can find anything, get anything you want. It's a very scary place. But what people don't know too much about the dark web, and I tend to stay away from that conversation because it gives people ideas. the little kids get a little bit curious, and they try to get on these things. And a lot of times people think that the FBI is watching us, or the CIA is watching us, or such and such, China's watching us. Right now they're having this big thing where they're trying to ban TikTok because they think China's taking all our information, and that's already been happening from years ago when the internet first came out. All our information is taken by all the internet companies. Be very cautious of that kind of stuff. I can't say, I don't want to say too much. Like I said, I don't like to say too much, especially because it's on Zoom and you don't know who's you know on there and really going to take what I'm saying and flip flop it around or something. But be very cautious of where your kid, like, I don't allow phones and tablets upstairs, right? If you're in the room, you don't need a phone. If you want to play with your phone, you want to look at your tablet, you're downstairs with us, right? And there's nothing that they're doing that I try not to know about, or I try to know about, because you have to understand, we're not going to be able to catch everything as parents, right? We can't. We're too busy doing everything else to keep the house running. But you have to try to stay as close knit as possible. I think what the internet has done was kind of pulled families apart. It's breaking up marriages. People use it for divorcing now. They'll screenshot somebody's status on Facebook saying, "Look, he cheated on me." They'll screenshot different things that people post to show this and to show that to when they're doing their divorces. It's really just kind of like destroy the nuclear family. In Islam, if that's one thing that we're good at as being Muslims, is keeping a strong family. And if you don't understand how to watch your children, learn. There's a lot of ways to learn online how to kind of monitor different things. Every phone has a different settings. I'm not too familiar with iPhones and how they do parental settings on iPhones because I have an Android, but I have a kid setting on my phone. So if I'm giving it to my kid, boop, scroll down, press the kid setting, and I've already had it set to, yeah, you can do this, you can do that, you can paint on my phone, but guess what? You can't do A, B, and C on my phone. Inshallah, hopefully that kind of answers a little bit of that question.
Yeah. Okay, thanks very much. Yeah, one of the things, two things. When I'm downloading an app and, like a calculator app, and it's asking for access to my contacts, it's like, why does a calculator app need access to my contacts? So I shut it down right there. Like, not every app needs access to my contacts, my
location,
and all that stuff. So that's always a red flag for me. I worked in banking for a number of years, and I did a lot of check fraud and fraud prevention from a business perspective. So my mind automatically goes to that side.
Fraud, yes.
And red flags go up. And also on Facebook, I notice you'll see these quizzes, and they're the most easiest quizzes in the world. And they'll say only 1 in 100 people will ever get the answer. And, everyone's clicking and following and commenting, thousands of people.
Yes.
But correct me if I'm wrong, but is that a way of getting access or tracking you?
Okay, so there's two things that happens when people do these fake things online. First of all, they want followers, right? Because you get paid after a certain amount of followers. So if you have TikTok, I think TikTok or Instagram, I think they have, after you hit 10,000 followers, and 10,000 likes, they start giving you some cash. So people want to get paid easy money, right? And to me, like I always say, if it's too good to be true, it probably is, because there's no such thing as easy money, other than it being a drug dealer or anything like that. But that, and also, yes, when you're clicking on certain things that you don't know about, you're giving them, like, that one click is a fisher. It's like, how do you say it? It is like a scam. Okay, and they're getting your information through that little click that you've done. That's why whenever you have like a government email comes through, we'll always get these things that say, this is not from us. This is not from the Broward Sheriff's Office. This is from an outside entity. Don't check to download those pictures. Because, they always put like a little picture on there or something that you have to click, download that picture. Do you trust the sender? And so they don't just do it on email. They do it on those little quizzes. You're pressing yes, 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 and you're thinking you're so smart. I got a high IQ. I'm very smart, because they do a lot of those high IQ scams, and they make you feel like you're super smart. When it says, what color is this apple? Red. Oh my God, now you got a 200 IQ score. Yes, you clicked red, and then now you just gave them access to your computer, your laptop, or whatever it is. I mean, it's so widely known now that people actually videotape themselves scamming the scammers, right? And if you ask me, 5 years ago, I always get this question, what if I use a VPN, right? What if I use a VPN? They can't track me through a VPN, right? And if you know anything about technology, that's like a separate server, blocks you out. If you asked me about that 5, 6 years ago, I would say yes, use a VPN. But now the technology has become so much more sophisticated, they can find a workaround about your VPN. Okay, sorry.
That's okay. No, thanks very much. Um, One of the things that I do, and it may just be for peace of mind, is that I'm very diligent and deleting old posts and stuff from my Facebook page,
Mhm.
going through my followers. If someone hasn't commented or posted anything in a year, it's like I'll just delete, because I just keep the people who I communicate with regularly,
Mhm.
because I don't. As the older I get, the less followers I need, sort of
Yeah,
thing. Um,
yeah.
and you only need to talk to a handful of people regularly anyway. So that's something I do, and just to keep my Facebook page. I also look after social media. I don't have any training in, but for a couple of the Mosque, Nur Islam, and
Mhm.
Jamaat al-Muttaqin. Again, I learned by watching YouTube videos how to do
Yeah.
Instagram and YouTube and Facebook and
Mhm.
all that. And so I'm also overly diligent with those, because I have to protect those entities'
Mhm.
social media presence. And one of them, I almost got hacked a couple months ago through
Mhm.
Instagram. Someone who an account that I knew the person, and they said, "Oh, I want to send you a link to join this group." And so I knew the person, and so I began that process. And as soon after, I realized, oh, wait a second, this isn't the same person. And
Yeah.
eventually, but like alhamdulillah, I was able to stop it and get it back. So someone hacked somebody else's account, and then they
Mhm.
used that account to try and hack.
To
I
get
don't
to
know
your
what they
account.
were expecting to get from a mosque, but anyway, they were trying to hack the account.
Well, see, and we say, we don't know what they're going to get or what they want to get from us. It's not just about getting from us. It's also about posting on our websites, on our Instagrams, on our Facebook, things that we wouldn't post to make us look bad, right? Because believe it or not, we're
Um,
not. There's a lot of people that don't like Muslims out there, so they're always going to try to do some type of way to go have a workaround to say something that we didn't say, and make us look bad. And then we're over there apologizing and trying to, do cleanup duty like we always do, and try to apologize and all that kind of stuff. So again, be very, very, very careful about what you're downloading. And I tell everybody all the time, you don't need to download 50 apps. There's no need on your phone for all those apps, right? And you don't really need people following you. That feeling of having, oh, look at me, I have this much followers, and we have a business that we do on the side, and for our business we use Instagram for everything, and we're like, oh yeah, we finally got 1,000 followers. Yeah, that's for our business. We don't really post personal stuff on that site, on that Instagram. And if you start to see the difference between people's business accounts and people's personal accounts, there's a big difference, right? And once I know, just from my own personal business, if I'm going to find a tax guy, somebody to do my taxes, let me research this guy before I give him all my personal information, right? I know a lot of people who go to those little shops, tax season comes, somebody just pops up a tent and says, "Hey, I'll do your taxes," and people are running over there to do their taxes. Who you're giving all your information? You're giving them your pay stubs. You're giving them your social security number. You're giving them your driver's license. You're giving them their bank information without doing any real research. You want to get a tutor for your daughter or for your son. Research that person. Let me get your references. Don't just think, oh, this is an 18-year-old kid who got A plus in calculus. I can let him teach my kid and then leave while those two people are in the house by themselves. We put too much trust in people. We put too much trust in the internet. It's going to backfire on us eventually. So I always tell people, be cautious. All right. I do a thing. I'm doing a thing right now in one of the schools of situational awareness. Right. And when we do these trainings, we do these trainings about when we're walking around the mall or walking around the movie theater or walking around or going to a restaurant. Situational awareness, right? Look around, see where the door is at, where's the emergency exit at. Keep your back towards the window. Make sure you're facing the door to see who's coming in and out. Know how many people are in the movie theater. Look at the people while they're walking around. Now we got to do situational awareness online, right? People are very, very, very smart. They know how to make our kids feel great. Oh, I can't believe the teacher gave you a B+ on your paper. That teacher is a mean person, blah, 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 blah. And they're getting too comfortable with our kids, and our kids are getting comfortable with them, and slowly but surely sharing information. And there's been a lot of things that we've done where we've pretended, parents have came and said, I want to see how stupid my kid is. And where people would chat them up, hey, meet me outside. And then they find a little girl who's 12 years old running outside the door to this guy in the white van, and the dad's in there saying, what the heck is wrong with you? And it's all online. All that kind of stuff is online. People post these videos like, look how dumb these kids are. They're just going to anybody who tells them and whispers sweet nothings to them. All right, I'm sorry. Go ahead. You can.
That's okay. That's okay. No, this is all beneficial information. We're going to go to Imam Naseeb in a minute for some comments from him. But before I go to him, Brother Mohammed, if you can just let those people in the room know what services that you can offer to the South Florida community.
Okay, no problem. So also I do a lot of stuff for the Muslims. I do parenting counseling, family counseling, premarital counseling, marriage counseling, substance abuse and mental health for the Muslim people. I know ICN over here has my number, and they've referred to a lot of people to me in the last couple of years. I'm trying to help as many people as I can. When Allah gives us, a skill set, we have to try to use it the best we can before we go. So I need as many hasanat as I can. So if you guys need anything, anybody has any issues, the Brother Khan has my number. Please reach out. You have my email as well. Don't be shy. Reach out. It's the worst thing you could do for yourself is to be going through something with your family and trying to keep it hidden, right? And I'm not saying to tell the world. I'm telling you to tell the right people, because you don't need the whole world knowing your problems. And I always guarantee everybody, I don't go around talking about people's businesses. It's super haram. I don't need the bad deeds. I need the good deeds. So inshallah, inshallah, everybody's going through some good stuff. Inshallah, everybody's life is great. But if there's any questions, comments, concerns about anything we talked about today, or anything that you're going to be going through or you are going through, don't hesitate to ask for help, inshallah.
Okay. Yeah, and most of you who are regulars in the class have my email and phone number. If you need his, you don't have to tell me what the issues are. If you just need his contact info, I can forward that to you, and he can assist you. So Imam Naseeb, are you there?
Assalamu alaikum.
Okay, we've got to turn your video on.
Oh, sorry. Assalamu alaikum. First of all, I want to thank Brother Mohammed. I wanted to ask a question before I say a few words. Brother Mohammed, do you have information either on a website or in a way in which, I'm as a parent, a question I was asked my kid, here is 10 tips of how you deal with your kid who is at teenage level and want to go online, or here is 5 things to be like. Some of the things you're talking about that in terms of avoiding the dangers, if you have them someplace where the Muslims can go and access.
I do have some pamphlets. If you want me to, I can bring them to the school sometime this week, inshallah. I'll bring some pamphlets and stuff that you guys can have. You guys can scan them, put them on your guys' website, whatever you guys want to do with them. We have, because everything I do for the sheriff's office, it has to get certified through BSO in order for us to pass things out. So I do have some stuff. I can bring them to you guys, inshallah, in the school, and you guys can post them on your website.
Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah, inshallah.
So I do believe that this should be the first session of many, because this topic is so important. I went to BC to study technology management, and one of the classes we had was to show how people hack computers, and it was very scary and remarkably easy to do. And it kind of shocked me and said, wow, this is very, very easy, and it's so easy to get to. A couple of things I want to mention is that I saw some of the census that Muslims have, and they found that 98% of Muslims use social media. So it's here to stay. It's pervasive. So we are not going to get it out of us. So we have to become different. We have to be able to be smart and educated on how to deal with it, as our brother was mentioning, They also mentioned that most of the Muslims, they use Instagram, 83%. 76% use YouTube next, then Snapchat. Facebook is actually way down the line there. They have Twitter, then TikTok, then LinkedIn, and then Facebook. And
Facebook's
the
for old
Muslims,
people.
they spend 50% of Muslims spend over 4 hours a day on social media. So this is really a sickness and a problem that we have in our community. So I would say that this and Brother Mohammed really is going to be a very important resource. I think the first thing we have to do is to teach our people how to be sick, because one of the dangers, social media have benefits and they have dangers. Among some of the benefits is, of course, easy communication. It helps you to socialize, spread the message of Islam. You can get education, like this Zoom seminar, this Zoom meeting as an educational, but it has so much dangers, as our brother's mentioning. Bullying that goes on, you lose your privacy, you develop a false sense of importance about who you are. You treat people like icons or statistics instead of people. And now the Surgeon General is telling us it's causing problem with the brains of adolescents in terms of anxiety and depression. And so there's a lot of dangers to it. So the first thing we need to, when in our classes, our madrasas and so on, is to, as believers, recognize, number one, we always weigh time versus benefit. And social media is something that sucks your time. So we've got to be very careful when we approach it and have the proper education. When using a tool or a service, you have to really be educated, because the tool and service will use you instead of you doing that. So we have to teach our people first to have a high self-esteem of who they are, who their identity is, so they're not easily swayed. Number two, we should have specific reason why you're going on social media, and know your weaknesses, and have clear goals why I'm doing it. I'm going there to access benefits, and not to be sucked into the dangers. And it is very addictive, and it is something, unless we begin to do education among our community, we will continue to use it for the wrong reasons. And of course, the haram and available on social media, it's tremendous. And there's only so much you could block your children. We'll take away their phone, take away their computer. You can't take away their life. They're going to find a way to get to this. So we have got to intensify our education and awareness of how these things are dangerous and very, very can really mess us up as an individual. People are committing suicide based on bullying, cyberbullying and all of that, because you become divorced from reality, and then you end up living a life that is not meaningful because you're not engaging with the real world. You're satisfied engaging with. I was speaking to my son last night, and he lives in Boynton, and he said none of the young people there are interested to come out and be involved in Islamic work. They're all with video games, staying at home, and they're satisfied with their life, that they don't see the need to come to the masjid or to get involved in activities because the video game give them the high, they play. And so why am I coming to the masjid and have to travel there? And so it is affecting even the dawah among the youth and among the young people. So sessions like these, I think Brother Muhammad has a big responsibility along with all of us to be able to begin to give khutbahs. I give a couple of khutbahs. Brother Muhammad, I'm retired now, but I spent 19 years in IT, being involved in this thing of writing software and doing all of that stuff. And so I'm a little bit familiar with some of the things and the horror stories that we hear about these things that you've been highlighting to us. And I hope that the students tonight are sufficiently scared to be concerned. We can't dismiss it. It's everywhere. Target tracks your eyeballs as you walk through the aisles to see which products you're looking at, and then send you appropriate coupons. So it's pervasive. The only thing I think we have to do is to make sure that we are strong Islamically in terms of knowing who we are, so we're not sucked into addictions and habits that are terrible. And number two, so we have the education to be smart in how we utilize these tools for specific purposes, and then we get out to them. But it is one of the big challenges we have. You know, a lot of times we say, what are we testing in America? We see Muslims in Bosnia and everybody going through disaster and earthquake. And we said, you know, where is our test in America? We're not starving. We have a roof over our head. We have good jobs. These are our tests. That in the midst of knowledge, we have ignorance. In the midst of plenty, we have starvation. In the midst of, you know, all of this. So this is a big part of our test. Now we don't recognize it. And that's another test. When you don't even recognize your own test. May Allah thank the brother really, and hopefully we'll contact you further to see if we can organize appropriate seminars at some of the masjids, inshallah. There is the SoFlo Muslim group. I don't know if you're aware of the group, but Samir Kakli, some of the seminars we are trying through him. So because a lot of the masjids are connected to that, so maybe we can do some of those through them. Jazakallah, may Allah reward you tremendously.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, thanks very much, both of you. Someone, before we go, someone mentioned in the chat about telephone scams as well. So, you know, be careful when people call and ask you for information. Just the other day I think it was on the radio, someone was stressing the fact that when you get your credit card receipts, make sure you shred them, rip them up, because they may only have the last 4 digits of your credit card number, but they may have your name and address, and people can quickly find information and call you. Go ahead.
Can I go real quick? Just according to that, first of all, yes, there's still phone scams. We do a lot of things with the elderly out here, the senior citizens. We do a lot of talks with them about the phone scams. The other thing is, check your cities. At least in Broward County, we do shred-a-thons consistently. Cooper City, Weston, I think Oakland Park as well. Whatever city you're living in, check on your city's website and the sheriff's website to see when we're doing a shred-a-thon. Bring all your stuff, everything with your information, last 4 digits of your socials, driver's license numbers. If you got a ticket and you've paid it off and you don't throw that dress right in the trash, bring it to these shred-a-thons. We shred everything for free. Just bring boxes and boxes of the stuff that you want shredded and we'll do it for free. Just don't throw that stuff away, because people do go into the trash and get your stuff out of there. We have that saying, one man's trash is another man's treasure. So just be very careful what you're putting in the trash.
Yeah,
the term is dumpster divers.
I had heard that Mark Cuban was starting a business of digitally erasing people's history. I don't know how effective that will be, but they're beginning to offer that as a product. He was working on that as a product where you can have a digital erasure of all your history online. I don't know how possible is that.
The problem that's going to be a false sense of security. It's like the TSA, right? The TSA is a false sense of security. You can delete everything you want to delete on your own. You can call Google to delete stuff, but if somebody took a screenshot or somebody took a picture of your picture, it's done.
I don't know if they have a way of blocking new ones coming in. So looks very difficult.
Yeah, it's just that's why I tell everybody we can't catch everybody, but you can save yourself by listening and heeding these little things that we're talking about. If you're just here listening and you're going to throw everything away, that's on you. But you can't say you weren't warned.
Hey, perfect. Thank you very much, Brother Mohammed and Imam Naseeb. Like I said, we like to do more of this. We like this type of information sharing. So I'd like to again thank you, Brother Mohammed, for joining us tonight, taking some time out of your schedule for us. And again, thank Imam Naseeb for choosing the topics for these classes every Wednesday night. And again, every class we try and do something different. And inshallah, next week our topic will be the importance of Allah's attributes. So again, we always, we're changing it from week to week. So please join us. That'll be our last class for the month of May already. Holy smokes! So again, thank you everybody. Inshallah, we'll see everybody here again next week. So assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam.